reality TV was becoming big business. It made me think of the Loud family who were on PBS's An American Family. And I said to myself, there are plenty of characters here who are just as compelling. Maybe this could be a reality series. What would that look like? After marinating on his vision, Scott wrote up a one-page treatment and, beginning in 2004, started crafting a sizzle reel he could use to sell his concept to networks. Luckily for him, he had a strong anchor at the center of his presentation, his neighbor, Gina. Gina Keogh. Scott said, "You guys are like Ozzy Osbourne without the drugs." Scott Dunlop. Gina's family was very unusual. They were perfect for television, really. Gina came from Hollywood. She was a Playboy Playmate of the Year. She had been one of the muses in ZZ Top's music videos, but she was now working as a real estate agent. Her husband, Matt Keogh, was a retired baseball player. They were always gone, and their 3 children sort of roamed the streets of Costa de Caza wild. I remember seeing their son Shane one day. He must have been about 7 years old, just standing at my door. I asked, "Shane, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm hungry." I said, "Where's your mom?" And he didn't have an answer. That was the Keoghs. I knew we could get a lot out of them. Gina Keogh. He was pretty excited about us. I thought, oh, how sweet. Anything we can do to help him out will do. I've always been a networker and someone who helps people realize their dreams. It's coming from the Midwest. That's what we do. With the Keogh family in place, Scott began scouting for other people around Kodo to participate in his reel. When it came to the tennis bitches, he picked the leader of the pack, fitness fanatic, mother of 2, and self-proclaimed trophy wife, Kimberly Bryant. Scott Dunlop. Kimberly was one of the most eager to do the show, and she was fearless. The tennis bitches would always go out for cocktails and gossip, and while we were filming, Kimberly made this great backhanded comment about how her husband isn't in as good a shape as the others' husbands because all he does is work. It captured my attention. She was also the one who was unafraid to say 85% of the women in Costa de Caza have breast implants. We used that down the line in the intro for the show, and people hated her for saying that. Gina Keogh. I actually thought 85% was a low number. It was probably more. After fleshing out the sizzle with more participants, including future actor Ryan Eggold of NBC's New Amsterdam fame, as the show's token boomerang kid, Scott began shopping it to networks under the title Behind the Gates. Bravo was the first to bite. Francis Berwick, Chairman, Entertainment Networks, NBC Universal. I was in the very first pitch meeting. Scott Dunlop came in wearing white leather loafers, which in New York stood out, and talked about this gated community that he lives in and the antics that were going on. He really created a picture where these lonely, bored housewives were staring out the window as these barely legal pool boys clean their pools. And we thought, well, that really sounds kind of up our alley. It was representative of the affluent, educated audience that Bravo attracts. Sherry Levine, Executive Vice President of Current Production, Bravo. You have to remember, Bravo had started out as an arts channel, so we were at a place where we were really defining ourselves and moving into uncharted reality programming. Scott Dunlop. I was a first-time television producer, and this was a docusoap as we know it now, which wasn't as dominant at the time. But I knew that Bravo was kind of re-engineering their brand. Francis Berwick. The network was just coming on the other side of the huge hit that had been Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, which changed everything for us. Lauren Zalaznik, former Executive Vice President, NBC Universal. Myself, Andy Cohen, and our head of marketing, Jason Klarman, all came to Bravo in 2004 from the Universal acquisition. By that point, Bravo had already launched Queer Eye, and it was a success. But what I didn't realize when I was put in charge of the network was that there was very little in the development pipeline that fit in with the Queer Eye ethos and, quite frankly, the Queer Eye audience. Nothing was working. With this vacuum in development, we sat as a team and really thought about our strategy, thought about our audience, and decided to make Queer Eye our one hit.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.